Hi all, this is Nitishi from Guinea Times, the official campus magazine of CEG, ACT and SAP. Guinea Times has come up with a post-graduation series with hope of providing awareness for those who want to move on to the next level in their student career. I have here Rachel Mashlakar, who is an alumna of the Geoinformatics Department of CEG 2018 batch. After UG, she went for a post-graduation in Applied Remote Sensing for Earth Sciences at ITC, University of Twente, Netherlands, and is currently pursuing a PhD in planetary sciences. There's some more too, and I think it would be good if Akka, you go with the wider info.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. Thanks, Nitishi, for this interview. So I think she gave you all the basic info. I'm currently doing my PhD at the University of Munster, and I graduated from Geoinformatics in 2018, and then I did my Master's in Science in Applied Remote Sensing for Earth Sciences. So yeah, you covered it basically, and then directly to my PhD.
Could you elaborate on your internships?
Yeah, sure. So during my bachelor's in CEG, I did 2 internships. The first internship was, I think, in second year, and it was through the Indian Academy of Sciences. I did an internship at Vikram Sarabhai Space Center in Trivandrum, and it was one of my first my first time that I was engaging in research, and I had no idea what I was supposed to do, and I was really clueless. But I was so grateful to have an opportunity to be working at to even share the same space as fellow scientists and as scientists in ISRO. And I learned a lot there. So basically, I spent a lot of my time reading papers. I was trying to understand lunar quakes, and I was reading a lot of research papers and trying to discuss them with the other interns, and also just getting into that field of research and the field of being around these super smart people and the art of asking questions, really. So it was my first, and it was an intimidating experience, but also I learned a lot from it. So I really encourage those in your second year to apply for this Indian Academy of Sciences internship. It's really worth it. And after that, I did my second internship during my third year in Institute of Planetology and Astrophysics in Grenoble in France. So I think in the third year already you have these opportunities to apply for this DARD internship or this MITAX and CHAPAC, and you have everybody's really stressed out trying to find a funding source, and I've been there and I've been really stressed trying to apply for a DARD internship, and I actually didn't get it. I got accepted in a German institute, but I couldn't get the funding because DARD is really competitive. And then I tried to apply also for the CHAPAC, which is from the French government, and then I also didn't get that. So it was not a great year for me in particular, and also MITAX. So I also didn't get MITAX, and I think nobody in our batch got MITAX for that year as well, the Canadian internship. So I was really I was in a really desperate place. And I was really emailing professors in Europe who were working on planetary sciences because I really wanted to work in planetary sciences. So I was sending emails every day with my CV, just to these professors, basically asking them if they have any space in their labs for a student. And I got a favorable reply from Dr. Bernard Schmidt at the Institute for Planetology and Astrophysics in Grenoble, and it was the university then paid me around 500 euros a month to cover my stay there, which was fine. But it was one of the best opportunities ever. And it really taught me that you just never give up. You just continue to be as annoying as possible and send as many emails as you can. And somehow somebody will reply with a favorable answer. And I worked on, in my internship in Grenoble, I worked on data correction and data preparation for the New Horizons mission, which went to Pluto, which imaged Pluto, sorry. And I was working on these, on basically georeferencing these images, and it was more of a data correction process. But I learned so much. It was also one of the first times that I really worked with planetary images. and it was surreal. And I think when I went there, I really liked the European style of research, and that kind of made me decide that I really want to be back here in Europe for a master's. And then
So, what were the criteria that you had in mind while choosing a suitable university?
for me, I really only thought of which course that I want to apply for. So in geoinformatics, we had a course called geology for 3 credits, and it was my favorite subject, my favorite course of the 4 years, uh, because it was the one assessment paper that I really enjoyed doing. Like, I didn't get great marks at it, but I really enjoyed the paper because it was just, it really tested how much you learned and not how much you memorized. And I think it was a really fun test, like a fun course. And I really thought, okay, I want to do a master's that is just this course, but for 2 years. So I was looking at remote sensing for geology, and it's a really, an extremely narrow field or narrow topic. So I was looking at institutes, and I just found like 2 or 3 universities that had a course that I wanted to do, wanted to pursue. So then I applied to ITC, and I also applied to University College in London. But I took up the ITC one because it was for 2 years, and it was exactly what I wanted to do: applied remote sensing for earth science. So I was like, this is a dream. But yeah, and even after I got the course, I was not too sure if I was going to do it, because it was so the Netherlands doesn't have a free education concept. There's you have to pay for higher education. It's not so in Germany, but it's not completely free in Germany, but it's lesser tuition fees. So in the Netherlands, it's super expensive. So I was also not 200% sure that I would do the course, even if I got it, unless I got a scholarship. So I think it also helps for other students to know that, you have a lot of scholarship opportunities, and yeah, just apply early, and then you have more chances to get into a scholarship. So yeah, so for me, it was all about the course and not really the like how good the university is.
So do you think the university ranking numbers really reflect the standard of education university provides?
This is a tough question, because I think I can only answer it from my point of view, or from what I've experienced. To be very honest, I didn't even check the university rankings for ITC. I actually just checked it like 10 minutes before this interview, because I was like, I don't even know where this university ranks. But from word of mouth, I heard that ITC is one of the best schools for remote sensing. I don't really know where it stands on the world ranking, but I just, yeah, and also we had seniors from geoinformatics before me who pursued this path of doing a master's at ITC and then a PhD in a European lab. So I really saw that path was possible. So I said, yeah. So I think for at least for me and for the domain that I'm interested in, not so much the university rankings matter, but more the department that you're going to and what kind of research that department produces, that really matters. If they work on the same lines that you're interested in, and if they have projects that you're interested in that you can take up in your and in your master's thesis, or also continue in your PhD. So for me, I think that, yeah, that matters more.
So what were the exams you had to take up to enter this university, and could you elaborate on the preparation?
So I did just my IELTS exam for the masters at ITC. I didn't have to do a GRE or a GMAT, obviously. So I wasn't as pressured as the other students preparing for a GRE, because I understand that the GRE is one of the tougher exams and it's IELTS is not, it's not too pressurizing compared to the GRE. I did start preparing for the GRE in the beginning of the third year, because I was still not sure what I wanted to do, if I just wanted to apply to the US. But then I was like, yeah, I will just apply to Europe and not do it. So for the IELTS, I basically just focused a lot on the writing section, because I think that's the section that people that we take for granted that it's going to be easy, but that's where you lose a lot of points as well. So for me, that I prepared quite some for that. But I think I didn't prepare, like I wasn't very stressed out for the IELTS. I think I was more focused on my final project for the bachelor's, because I felt like that was more instrumental for my master's degree, that I can show that I did a really good final project and learned something about remote sensing there. But I think for the IELTS, it's just maybe 3 weeks of good preparation should be fine. Just reading a lot, preparing from past papers, looking at how these speaking tests go on YouTube, and I think that's more than enough to get a good band score.
Okay, so can you share your future plans?
My future plan is to finish the PhD, and I really want to stay in research. At least now, I really want to stay in research. So maybe still stick around for more projects in the future. That's like on a personal level, and on a more systemic level, I would really like to make this space of science and at least planetary science is not just more accessible, but also healthier for students like me to come abroad and to pursue these research studies and to stay here for a long time. So that's also one of my goals, to make it more inclusive, but also more healthier.
So finally, your opinion about this initiative, post-graduation series by GITTI Times.
I think it's a really great thing to do, because I remember being very clueless as well in college, and I think that this would really help students to, if they're just curious and they don't know what they want to do, which is normal, to see what others have done, and to not do the same thing, but also know that some things are possible. Because it really helped me, like when I spoke to my seniors in geoinformatics, and I saw that they had done a particular career path and which led them to academia, I felt like, okay, it's possible and I can do it. So I think maybe this helps other students in the same way.
Thank you, Akka. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.